I was in the YouTube streets and I saw a podcast by the brother named Showtime. Shout out to Showtime. Subscribe to his channel if you don't know who he is. And that's Showtime Tyme, right? And he put forth a presentation on what a superstar is and the different levels of basketball. So he had like a level 654, and then he had a caliber of the rising stars. And that got me to thinking about how outrageous, and this was the main idea of Showtime's video, about how we are getting too crazy with labels these days and how everybody is a superstar just because Jason Tatum is still in the playoffs. The media considers him to be a superstar, for example. Because Luka Doncic is still in the playoffs, he's in the conference, that means he has to be a superstar. And that's not correct. Now, what do I define a superstar as? You've had to at least win one or two individual awards and have gotten to the NBA Finals. You have had to win at least one or two individual awards in your career, and you have had to get to the NBA Finals. So that's my criteria. So of the guys in the NBA, how many of those guys have been, Defensive Player of the Year, the MVP, and have made it to the NBA Finals? And then you create your list from there, and that's where I create my list from. Now, there's Giannis, there's Kawhi, there's LeBron, there's Steph Curry, there's Kevin Durant. That's the list. Guys like James Harden, he's won multiple MVPs, but he's never gotten to the NBA championship. You have guys like Jokic, he's a two-time MVP, but he's never gotten to the NBA championship. You have guys like, I'm trying to think of another example, but a Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is always a perennial MVP candidate, but he's never even gotten to the Eastern Conference Final. You can't call somebody who's never gotten to the conference final a superstar. And that's basically the root of what I get at. Just because the young brothers is out here balling, we saw John Morant going in. We saw Donovan Mitchell doing whatever he could, with Rudy Gobert. We see out in the Eastern Conference, you got Tyrese Maxey out there with Philadelphia, Ben Simmons and what he was doing in Philadelphia before, he just kind of opted out of basketball. But just because these guys, Trae Young, he made an Eastern Conference final run last year. Just because these guys are in the playoffs or making all-star teams or even making it to the conference final, that does not make them a superstar. There are way too many people that are deemed superstars in the modern day NBA. There's never at one point been more than 4 or 5 guys that you would call championship level players. And that's what a superstar is. A superstar is a championship level player. You think about the 2000s. You got Shaq, you got Kobe, you got Tim Duncan. You could put an asterisk by Dirk Nowitzki's name. You got you got Kobe. Did I say Kobe's name already? But if I say Kobe's name twice, then so be it. You got Kobe twice. He was that damn good. But as the 2000s became the 2010s, you get LeBron James throws his name in a hat. Kevin Durant throws his name in a hat. Steph Curry throws his name in a hat. Kawhi Leonard throws his name in a hat. And now as the 2010s become the 2020s, Giannis has thrown his name in the hat. People thought Devin Booker was going to be a guy to throw his name in the hat. James Harden has yet to throw his name in the hat. Joel Embiid was supposed to throw his name in the hat. Just because these guys are great basketball players, that does not mean that they equal the 4 championship level players they're only going to exist like this. Even if you go back to the 80s, you got Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, Moses Malone. As the 80s become the 90s now, you get Michael Jordan, you get Akeem Olajuwon, you get Shaquille O'Neal. These players do not just come around so frequently that at least half of the NBA has them. There was somebody that was saying, in his opinion of what a superstar is if you make the all-star game, that makes you an all-star. But of those 15 brothers that make the all-star team in either conference, how many of them can take you, first of all, to the playoffs, to the conference final, to the championship, win a championship? That list is always going to come back to those same 4 names. So are there superstars in the NBA? Absolutely. Is everybody in the NBA who plays well a superstar? No. It is disrespectful to the championship level players to keep calling everybody their contemporary. If you want to know who the superstars are, go anywhere online that you can find the champions, the NBA champions from the last 75 years, and go look at who the finals MVPs were. That list right there will tell you have to put asterisks next to some guys like Andre Iguodala, Chauncey Billups. But for the most part, that list will tell you who the superstar players are in NBA history and of your modern era. So what do you guys think? Do you think that I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think that I'm missing some things? Do you have some things to expand on the conversation? Let me know in the comment section. Make sure you like and subscribe.